Good morning. This is our daily tarot. The opening card that we have for today is the Sun. The challenge that we have for today was the Ace of Pentacles upside down. The way we're going to get through the challenge is the Seven of Pentacles. And then the overall outcome for the day that came through is the Judgment card. Let's go ahead and walk through these guys because we have two major arcanas and we have two pentacles. So we are definitely looking at our value system and where we put our efforts day to day. So first, let's start off with this opening card of the Sun. This is the most beneficial card of the deck. When the Sun comes out, we can get clarity in matters that are dark, and consider that we just had this full moon. So we have the Sun and the Moon that were at opposite ends or opposite sides, I guess, of our astrological system. So they were 180 degrees apart, which is why we see a full moon, because we see the reflection of the Sun on the moon's surface and it reflects back to us. And it can reveal, quite literally, things that are in the dark. I've mentioned this in previous readings, how I've actually been able to find my way out of really treacherous circumstances because of the light of the full moon. I was in Hawaii on this trek up above the 7 sacred pools, and the sun started to go down, and I could tell because I was taking pictures and the bulb setting kicked in on my camera and everything became fuzzy, and we started racing time, quite literally, as the sun cackled at us as it went over the horizon to try to get off this mountain. Or not this mountain, I guess it's a mountain. And at the same time, there was just darkness. We didn't have headlamps. We were wearing flip-flops and we were not prepared, to say the least. But coincidentally enough, that year there had been a lot of rain in Hawaii. And I observed in looking down that the paths were lit, like the puddles were lit up by the reflection of the moon. So I had told my friend, hey, look down, and we were able to follow the reflections of the moon's light in the puddles to get off of this mountain, and it was like another 3-hour trek down. So the light of the moon really can light up the darkness, and I bring that up because it's a reflection of the sun, and when we see things finally come out of the darkness, it reveals a lot, and there's this realization. And in a lot of ways, we can see these other sides of our character when the sun comes out, right? So we are in this time of realization today, based on likely what you have been able to witness in yourself in regard to where this full moon was yesterday, because the moon was in Leo, which the sun governs. So that's kind of interesting too, I think. The challenge that we have for today is the Ace of Pentacles upside down. So the Ace of Pentacles is typically an opportunity, and yet it's coming in upside down. So it's likely that we are in this space in time where there is this opportunity and we're not actually taking advantage of this opportunity. Now, we still have this span of manifestation time up until February 22nd. So considering you still have a very small window, it is calling us to task. Make sure that you don't let that opportunity drop out of your hand because you aren't budgeting your time appropriately to take advantage of that. Now, the way we're going to get through the challenge is the Seven of Pentacles. This one showed up yesterday. It's been showing up a lot. It's reminding us that we put efforts towards things and they grow over time. So you can't get distracted or discouraged, I guess, by the fact that if you want to make something happen, it can't happen in one day, right? Like this project of drawing these cards took me 2 years. The first deck that I drew, which was the Rider-Waite deck, took me 1 year. And that was because I was working one-on-one with my teacher. This deck took longer because we had a couple other students involved in the class and we wanted to have everyone move at the same pace. So it got kind of dragged up if other people wouldn't. attend the class. So big projects take time is my point, right? We have to be willing to give an effort a little bit each and every day to make sure we don't lose this opportunity. So it's calling us, haha, sorry about that. It's calling us to task in regards to where we put our efforts. Now, the overall outcome that we have for today is the Judgment card. This card is pretty interesting because this represents Pluto, and you can see that there's also this additional energy of realization. You know, we have the Sun that can kind of call us out of darkness, and then the card of Judgment actually calls us out of these dark places that we've been in. So if you've been in this, like, you know, mental box, so to speak, similar to these, you know, coffin-looking structures that these people are being called out of, in a lot of ways, we're being called to transform some kind of limited container that we've been existing in. Now, as I had just mentioned, this card is ruled by Pluto, and we've had Pluto sitting in the sign of Capricorn for a number of years, and it's a lot of the reason why we've been experiencing all of these transformations in our social environment, because Pluto is the furthest planet in our system, right? And so it takes the longest amount of time to go around the whole system, and so it's going to sit in each sign for a good chunk of time, and it can affect that area of our natal chart in our lives for a number of years, particularly because Pluto is such a far planet in our solar system. So wherever Pluto is sitting right now, which is in Capricorn, is going to be reflective of what deep kinds of transformation you are being called to. Now, consider that how we've been living inside this little box is pretty restricted. So it is quite likely that this opportunity is going to be what gets you out of this box. So you have to be willing to put efforts toward it every day, or at least some kind of effort, you know, because it is what is going to make sure that your harvest is fruitful. Now, if you have access to your natal chart and you can look at where Capricorn is in your natal chart, that's the area that is experiencing this big level transformation. And by transformation, I mean life is going to be totally different when Pluto leaves this area of your chart. So if Capricorn is your rising sign, then it's going to be affecting and transforming your sense of self and how you show up to the world. If Capricorn is sitting in your second house, it's going to be transforming your resources and what you have on hand as far as the resources that you are able to work with. If Capricorn is sitting in your third house, it's really going to affect your relationships with your siblings and your neighbors, as well as your communication. It's really going to transform your communication, and likely you'll be able to talk about deeper subjects with people because of this influence of Pluto sitting in this third house. Now, if Capricorn's in your fourth house, it's going to be transforming your sense of home. It could also be transforming your relationship with your mom and your family. If it's in your fifth house, it's transforming creative projects. Could also be transforming your ideas around children. If it's in your sixth house, it's going to be transforming your work environment, your place of work, your job, as well as how well you take care of yourself and your preventative self-care. If Capricorn is in your seventh house, it's going to be affecting one-on-one business relationships, as well as partnerships and contract-based relationships, so likely marriages. If it's in your eighth house, it's going to be affecting other people's money, so it could be transforming your debt or inheritances and other kind of taboo subjects, like things that are going on behind the veil, like different addictions and things like that. If Capricorn is in your ninth house, it's going to be transforming your belief system, your ideas around long distance travel. It also could be transforming you through some kind of higher level of education, like a master's program or something like that. If Capricorn is in your 10th house, which is its natural position, it's going to be affecting your life path, your career path, not your job, your actual path, right? Because the job is just one part of that path. It's your pinnacle. And also your reputation and how you hold yourself in front of the public. If Capricorn is in your 11th house, it's going to be affecting your relationships and your friendships, as well as your long range hopes and dreams, and also your perspective in regard to like where you can have a sense of detachment around situations. And then if it's in your 12th house, right, it's going to be in Pisces' natural house. So it's this different, deeper level of spirituality and sense of self. And also working with things that are kind of hidden, right? Like your own skeletons in the closet will be transformed under this influence. Because the zodiac wheel is a circle, right? It has 12 pieces of the pie, and each piece of the pie represents a different area of your life. And so because it's a wheel, the time of day that you were born is going to adjust this wheel. And so all of the zodiac signs are going to be in your chart. So even if you don't have a planet in Capricorn or an ascendant in Capricorn, you still have Capricorn in your chart. And that is where Pluto is sitting right now. So this is why I'm bringing this up, because this is the area where we are experiencing this really big level of transformation in our lives, and where we're basically being called out of the darkness and into a much bigger transformative experience. If you'd like to look at your chart with me, reach out to me at rootsofalchemy@gmail.com and we'll set up some time. I can also type that up for you if you prefer to go about it that way, because sometimes readings can be like an overload of information, and it can be really helpful to have it written down so you can refer back to it or record it. So if that's something you're interested in looking at, as well as other transits that are going on, because we have other planets that are landing in our natal chart and affecting us and influencing our lives, we're all in this time of transformation. We're all leveling up right now. And how we level up ultimately depends on how we take this opportunity into our hands, or if we let it drop away. So I encourage you to grab the opportunity and put time towards it every day, because that ultimately is going to help you grow and help you in your state of becoming, because we don't want to miss it. This is a great opportunity. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. I send you a good wish and so much love today. I hope you're well. I'll see you again soon. Bye. Mwah.